Deculane turns around and looks at Luna. He knows what Luna is about to ask. Luna wants to know if Deculane knows her father that died under him. She is also scared to ask him about this, as if Deculane remembers her family, he would rescind the verdict to save himself. But on the other hand, if he don't remember her father, that will make Luna more heartbroken. Deculane sees that Luna is in trouble. He tells her that she don't need to ask anything. He remembers it all. He also tells her not to waste her potential on things of the past. Saying this, he left. Luna wonders if Deculane helped her because he feels some sense of responsibility, or if he just helped her out of pity. However, she feels relief to know that Deculane still remembers her family, and that's enough for now. After this scene ended, Deculane overcomes a death variable and received 2 store currency. The scene shifts, and we can see Sylvia and his dad. Gilteon is on a car. Sylvia seems upset, so her father asked her what happened. As Sylvia is silent, he tells her not to worry about Luna. It is Ture that she is talented, by she missed her window. 10 years ago, on the day the aptitude exam for entering the academy was held, Sylvia met Luna for the first time. After running the mana test, the mage gets shocked to see that both of them have the qualities to be a archmage, pinnacle of the magic world, eternal. A being on a level even the emperor cannot touch. Those who rise to that level are called archmages and have their names engraved across the history of the continent. However, according to tradition, only 3 people may be archmages in one era. It does not matter what their type or specialty is. That is the unchanging rule of mages. At the time, aside from Demerkin's seat, 2 were empty. However, one of them was likely designated for Adeline, the Magic Tower's chairwoman. In other words, Sylvia, heir to the Illid family, and Luna, whose family was a collateral of their must compete for the remaining seat. Sylvia could tell without her father explaining it to her explicitly. That day, she knew the real reason the Illides stomped over Luna's family was solely because of her. It was in order to make her the Archmage instead of Ephorine Luna. Sylvia also wishes to become one, but Luna's words are bugging in her head. Her father tells her that she don't need to worry about that girl, but she must. He wary of Deculane, as he's not that simple of a man. He may be stumped now, but he was called a genius when he was young. He could soar high out of the blue for all they know. Sylvia already knew that Professor Deculane is talented, as he was the one who saw through her trap. At that moment, she undoubtedly made Luan's mana vanish. She set up a trap so that when it come into contact with Luna's mana, it would explode. The larger the incident, the more trouble she would have been in. But Deculane saw through her plan immediately, even though she already checked if there were any signs of magical observation happening within the room. Yet he still made them compromise, instead of saying that it was Sylvia's doing. His attitude was like, "I know everything, so go along with May." It was a threat she had no choice but to accept. She thought he was simply an arrogant man with talents that are slightly above average. But after this incident, she wonders what kind of man Deculane is. A few days later at Deculane's manor, we can see Deculane is getting ready. He tells his driver to go down and start the car. He is coming. After a while, he gets on his fancy car and starts to go on a social event. While he is sitting, he thinks that he made a correct choice of supporting Luna, as this removes a death variable and he also gains 2 store currency. He never would have expected the debutante who asked the question to be Luna, but she was most likely hostile toward Deculane then. However, Sylvia might hold a grudge against him over what happened, but he had no choice but to put out the fire on his shoe. That aside, regarding social events, he would prefer to avoid them. However, he can't let an opportunity to gain more store currency slip past him. Side quest: attend the Flower of the New Year event. Reward will be 0.5 store currency, Deula needs at least 5 store currency to access the shop, so he should check out any named characters at the event. After a long drive, Deula reached at the site of the event. As he enters the hall, the receptionist welcomes him. Deula looks around and sees that many high-ranking nobles are here, and he is seeing many named people he is familiar with, especially Helm, whom he modeled himself. As he is roaming around, a noble sees and shouts his name and says that his child is taking his class. This garbs all the nobles' attention towards him. Everyone is eager to talk to him. At that moment, a name caught Deula's attention. He gets desperate to look for this person named Ganesha. As getting acquainted with her, who will have an important turning point in the story among even adventurers, would be the greatest thing he could do today. Deula searched for Ganesha, but couldn't find her. Ganesha is in the 2nd floor. She stares at Deula from up there. Ganesha is an adventurer and the 5th strongest character in the early story. After searching whole floor at last, Deula found Ganesha, who is wearing an adventurer outfit. He walking quickly towards her, but Helm stops him. Helm von Garion Rewind, Imperial Exclusive Mage, rank, Monarch, 4th highest rank. He greets Deula and asked him how his research is going. He also says that he is concerned about him as per the rumors he has heard. Deula is confused. He asked what is he referring to. Nothing much. Just that your research hasn't progressed in the last 3 years, and that there are those doubting your ability, Helm says. Deula gets that he is taunting him. This guy was Deula's peer in university. They were once close, but after losing the head professor position to Deula, he began to explicitly hold a grudge of jealousy against Deula. Perhaps the original Deula might be bothered, but these provocations seem pointless to me. It's not like what he's saying is wrong, since the rumors Helm is referring to are the truth. As Helm is lecturing him, Deula sees that Ganesha is gone. He gets tensed as he has lost her after all the trouble he has gone through searching her. Deula gets mad, get closer to Helm and tells him to shut up his rotten mouth. Hearing this, Helm gets confused. Deula leaves and starts to find Ganesha. As if he can't get acquainted with her in this party, his plan of coming here will be ruined. After a while, Deula comes to the balcony and gets surprised to see Ganesha is there. Ganesha asked him if he was looking for her. Deula is a bit confused as he can't get if Deula and Ganesha were already acquainted. Deula then tells her that he simply got lost. Ganesha laughs and tells him to stop joking as she already know he was looking for her, since he has something to say. She also says sorry to Deula about the mission back then. She also says that she gave back the advance and the cancellation fee, so can he let it go just this once? Listening, this Wu Jin gets that Ganesha and Deula are already acquainted. Ganesha again apologizes for not being able to bring a child talented in magic like he said. She says that she couldn't bring the child as she got attached to them. Wu Jin was wondering what she was talking about, but it seems Deula was going to repeat it. His attempt to compensate for his own shortcomings by using a talented child. Ganesha then asked Deula that until when he will keep living like that. Before Wu Jin possessed Deula's body, he accepted the sweet talk of those who were of no help, destroyed the trust around him, and hurt many for his own fame. Deula lines on the railing and tells Ganesha that he is going to live differently now. Ganesha gets confused and says that she didn't expect this reaction, as she thought that he is trying to kill her. Wu Jin gets that Deula was digging his own grave by trying to kill Ganesha, who has the top-class fighting ability at this point. Wu Jin don't know about the original Deula, but Ganesha is a named who could kill someone with a single strand of her hair. Her attributes are invincible body and master of all martial arts. She is a fighter and adventurer who has reached the physical peak because Wu Jin possessed him. Deula probably just couldn't send an assassin after Ganesha. If he had, she would have already died. It's a bit different from what Wu Jin thought, but he has already accomplished his goal for this social gathering. Making connections. There's no further reason to stay here. Deula then tells Ganesha that he is going to head back, so don't worry needlessly. Ganesha then asked him if there is not going to be any assassination or death. Deula says that that's classless and leaves without looking back. As he walks away, a notification appears, which says that he has escaped a death variable and gets 1 store currency. Deula gets sacred to see that a simple conversation would have killed him. He gets that he can't be at ease anywhere here. The scene shifts, and we can see Rayleigh, who is Julie's relative and an adventurer debutante, 12th highest rank. Julie is also at the event. She is sad, as she didn't want to come here. Rayleigh is talking to Julie. She asked her that how is her relation going to with Deula. Julie's face turns grim. She asked Rayleigh what she means. Rayleigh says that she has heard rumors and is worried about her. Julie recalls the past event and says that it's not going well. As she says this, Deula comes there. He gives a look at her and starts to leave. Everyone is shocked to see that Deula, who used to love social meeting, is leaving so early. Since Deula left the social gathering earlier than usual that day, there were talks that he did so because of disharmony with Julie, but there was no way Kim Woo-jin would know this. The event ended, and the side quest is complete. Deula gets 0.5 store currency, and his current store currency is 4.5. 1 week has passed since then. Deula attended the social event, Flower of the New Year. During that time, other than his daily memorization and basic telekinesis training, he felt that his stamina was lacking. So he began working out. The reason being that he almost died after doing something crazy. A few days ago, he desired greater strength after meeting Ganesha the other day. So he engraved fire control in addition to his existing telekinesis engravement to strengthen his metal manipulation. If he were a normal mage, he would have died. He guesses that he did manage to withstand it because of the Iron Man attribute. The purpose of this was an upgrade by way of implanting the core of magic inside telekinesis. This method would reduce the amount of time needed to learn magic, but in exchange, it's incredibly dangerous. After realizing the intense strain it would put on his body, he decided that he needs to train his body. As a result, he developed a morning routine. Presently, it's already his time to go to work. At his office, he is informed that a statement has arrived from the Magic Tower, and the sender is the Magic Tower Qualification of Professor Committee. The letter goes like these. We are informing you of an audit hearing scheduled in 6 months regarding the advancements in the research you are currently doing, Head Professor Deula. Until then, we would like you to please prepare the relevant documents. Wu Jin thinks that if an audit hearing is being held, then it likely means that Deula's research has been at a standstill long before he possessed his body. He perceives that this is an unfavorable situation for him. The Deula inside the game was always a professor. It may be that a precondition of the quest is being a professor, so the moment he loses this title, it would be equivalent to losing all hope of returning. As such, he will have to find something or anything in Deula's laboratory. Upon entering the laboratory, he sees that it's in a total mess. It looks like nobody's been in here for a long time. If Deula had come and gone, there's no way the laboratory would be this much of a mess. Then, he notices the heap of trash in particular, which looks unnatural to him. Is it hiding something? He thinks. He doesn't know who's to blame, but there would be no better way to stop Deula. He finds it, as a relief that he managed to learn telekinetic manipulation. While seeing the book, it looks like the researcher encrypted all of his research results so they wouldn't be stolen. But it's useless to Deula, since he now has comprehension skill. He uses the skill on the research notebook. He says that this golden light is blindingly bright, and it seems that person's research was simply incredible. What he can see through the combined usage of wealthy magnate and sharp eyesight is only this brilliant light. However, he notices that this research is incomplete. It's torn and there are empty spots. Even the logic in this part is completely incorrect. Despite that, this research was great enough for wealthy magnate to react. Then he sees the childhood photo of Ephorine Luna with her father whose face can't be seen. Wu Jin perceives that it seems that while Ephorine's father was working as Deculean's researcher, he made a desperate attempt to hide this, and it's clear that because of Deculean, Ephorine has lived a brutal life. He says that he will complete this research using comprehension, and if he manages to complete this research paper that way, he will add Ephorine Luna's name on this paper as a co-author. But of course he needs accomplishments as well, so he can't put only her name on it. The scene changes to the university on-campus cafe named Light and Coffee. Julia, a commer, speaks up. She says that they, the commoners, should stick together. There are only 30 commoners in this class, so if they don't work together at least, they'll end up suffering for it one day. She asks Luna whether she agrees to the thing being said. Luna thinks that she also used to be a noble, though. Well, for now it's fine, and she can forget about fulfilling a noble's duty. She doesn't even have a residence or land, so what kind of noble she is, she wonders. Julia insists Luna to be with them, and another girl, on behalf of everybody there, makes Luna the representative of the commoners, since she was a victim of Sylvia, too. Another person brings up the fact that if they want to be in a club, they will need permission from a supervising professor, and he doesn't think the professors would like them meeting together like this. Julia says that it's the biggest they need to overcome. Then, "What about Professor Raylan?" she asks. A boy replies that Professor Raylan is famous for sucking up to that fat noble. They speak about Professor Carmel, whose name can't be mentioned here because that professor immediately turns away at the sight of commoners. At that moment, a person speaks of Professor Deculean, although knowing that he will also not give the sign. Meanwhile, Luna is shamelessly looking at the strawberry with a drooling face. She wonders when they are going to eat it. Julia jumps off upon hearing Deculean's name. She wants Luna to ask Professor Deculean on behalf of all of them. Luna's face grew pale while hearing the suggestion. A boy says that if they think about it, Deculean is pretty fair because he looks down on everyone, nobles and commoners alike. Julia says that since Luna was saved by the professor, that means maybe she has caught his eyes. That's why she suggests that Luna should be the one asking for the signature. Luan replies that it's nothing like that, and she doesn't see the professor as great as a person. She doesn't like that the mood is shifting in such a weird way since she doesn't want to have to get involved with Deculean. She decides to run away while telling Julia that she can't do it. She says that if she does it, it'll just end up having the opposite effect. Julia successfully catches Luna, but she suddenly stops, looking ahead as if she has seen a ghost. Luna looks forward and sees that it's Professor Deculean telling her to move. After bumping into Deculean, she notices that her friend Julia has already hid herself. She sees that the professor is walking forward. She gathers up all the courage to tell Deculean that she wants to make a club and she needs his signature for it. Moreover, she says that she won't anu him at all. She was just worried since Professor doesn't seem to approve of clubs with peasants. She kindly asks for the signature, while thinking that she doesn't want to get involved with Deculean, but Julia is right, saying that it's a given that the other professors won't cooperate with them, so rather than be bothered all the time by others on this matter, they decided to give this a try. Deculean takes the paper and signs it, telling her to send the details of the club later in his office. He gives the paper to Luna after signing it. Luna accepts it, while making a confused countenance. She is surprised to see that Professor Deculean really signed it. He just signed it? The Deculean? She finds it unfathomable. Julia comes running, appreciating Luna for her bravery again. She also didn't expect Deulain to sign it, but why? Just like back at the disciplinary committee. Why is he being nice to me? Luna thinks. After some time, Deulain starts today's lecture by saying that today's lesson is on the understanding of pure elements. As they already know, elements are the building basis of all magic. However, there are still many mages who do not understand the differences between categorical magic and pure elements. Meanwhile, inside the classroom, Luna is still thinking about the event that happened earlier today. She wonders whether Deulain is acting nice to her because of the guilt or sympathy, perhaps. She blames him by saying that he drove her father to death. Even if he's nice to her now, it seems only fake to her. She thinks that if Deulain truly feels that he did wrong, then he should reveal his true self to the world and repent. Julia speaks up, asking, is everything okay with Luna? Since she has that terrible look on her face. She tells Luna not to concern herself over those guys who sat beside her talking nonsense. She says that they don't know how to do anything other than running their mouths. Luna wonders what Julia is talking about, so she looks beside her. She sees that the nobles are cursing her, telling her gross. She laughs in her mind, thinking that she really made herself a common enemy of the nobles after that incident, despite the fact that she is a noble herself. She tells Julia that she is doing just fine, and since those guys are always like that, they should just focus on the lecture. Luna also notices that Deulain's lectures are different that she heard of. Further ahead in the lecture, Deulain says that the magic circles they have used until now also holds a reasoning in each stroke. This ignition spell can change color just by adding 2 strokes to the circle. That is because these 2 strokes decide the color of the flames. He is not just saying it, he is also simultaneously doing the practical. He announces that today they are going to learn about flowing fire, Ephrine. Luna's thoughts were not incorrect. Originally, Deulain's lectures were just a way for him to boast using his position as a professor. The lectures now from Kim Woojin were beautiful reenactments using mana, creative explanations of elite understanding. This came as a shock to all the debutantes who were in the lecture, as well as to Sylvia, who had lost the joy of learning because of her genius talents. Deulain says, as they all know, that this magic circle he is showing now is for summoning water. However, if they combine this with the fire magic circle, it becomes like this, flowing fire, a fire flowing like water. Everyone attending the lecture was astonished, and Sylvia didn't even expect that Deulain's lectures were so theoretical. Sylvia explains that most mages who are called geniuses use their intuition to cast spells, so theory to them is more like a mold. If all mages prioritized theory, all magic would be the same in a mold. It makes sense. If someone focuses too much on theory, there is not enough time to learn magic. Trying to understand all magic through theory is very inefficient and gets in the way of training. This is the paradox of magic. In order to become an elite, one should have good intuition, but elites cannot explain intuition. According to her, for someone like Deulain, whose genius is being questioned by the public at the moment, to teach such a theory-focused lesson, it's practically impossible. After the lecture ended at the Magic Tower dorm, Luna says the lecture that was completely different from the rumors. She has never focused so hard on a lecture before. She is about to enter her room, but then she sees that the noble girl's stupid pranks haven't stopped yet, and it's gotten worse ever since that happening with Sylvia. Then she notices a sponsorship certificate. She smiles, saying that she almost fell for this one because for her, there is no way this is real. No one would sponsor her when she is hated by both the Iliad household and Deulain. She says that this is good, actually, since she can report this for being false and get a reward. After some moment, she comes out of the magical administration office, trembling and sweating. Previously, inside the office, she got to know that the seal in the document isn't fake. Instead, it is real. She felt for the very first time, after her father passed away, she pinches herself, trying to wake up if it was a dream. Then she looks around to see whether anyone has seen her, acting mad like this. After some time, she goes inside her room and starts packing an emergency suitcase in case anything happens to her. She wonders what will happen if people realize that she has 100,000 elne, which is equal to 100 million won. She realizes that she shouldn't have gone to the magical administration office because that staff member had a weird look too. She says that maybe that manager is also after her money. Then she hurts her head, bumping into the table due to anxiety of getting so much money. It hurts, but amidst all, she is genuinely happy that he hasn't woken up from the dream. She says that finally, someone has noticed her talents, while crying tears of joy. Lastly, she says that since the world is still kind, she should get it together and try a bit harder.